No.
I would like to call this meeting to order. I would ask the public, please hold comments until the select board chair opens the agenda items for public comment. When addressing the board, please state your full name, both in person and on Zoom. So I will take a motion to, open the public hearing, right?
Yes. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? So public hearing, Timothy Harrington and Astaku Investment Holdings LLC, doing business as the Astaku Hotel, 15 Peabody Drive, Northeast Harbor, Maine. Request for liquor license, new license. Any public comment? Comment from the select board? Second public hearing, Timothy Harrington and Astaku Investment Holdings LLC, doing business as the Astaku Hotel, 15 Peabody Drive, Northeast Harbor, Maine. Request for special amusement permit. Any comments from the select board on that?
Nope.
Public comment on this?
Ann Savage, I'm at 2 Astaku Way. And, am I under the understanding that there is no noise ordinance within the town?
That's correct.
I believe that is correct.
I'm thinking at one point that the hotel in the past may have had conditions on the sound, and I'm wondering if there's a possibility that we could put some kind of a limitation on the hours for the entertainment and for the volume.
Any other public comment?
Story Litchfield, 35 Peabody. So we're basically neighbors. In the past, they have been excellent about stopping the music at, I don't know if it was 10 or 11. Which was bearable, but without any sort of checks or balance on that. That would be tough on a neighborhood, I think.
So their business hours are listed as 7 AM to 11 PM.
Okay,
So I would assume that would mean there would be nothing after 11 PM if those are their business hours.
There were many times in the past where it went over that. And I'd like to see that limited too.
I wonder if that was for weddings, and I doubt there'll be many public events there with the new housing.
The configuration does not seem to lend itself. Now the lawn is all taken up with the buildings.
Yeah,
Where they used to hold the weddings. So I would doubt if you'd see it near the fireworks or anything like that. It used to be pretty common, but you can put conditions such as that it has to be, music has to be stopped by such and such time. That's perfectly within your powers to put conditions on these special use permits. And you did do some with the nor'easter in the past, I
Yeah.
think, so, yeah. you can
And
do
to
that.
do so with this, consistent with their posted operating hours. Is perfectly reasonable.
Reasonable to me.
would that be acceptable?
Yes. Yes.
for 11 at night.
Yeah,
They're,
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
their
they're
operating hours.
posted business hours that would.
Yes. And I looked up the definition of special amusement, it basically said gathering of people and dancing. That would not include fireworks, is that correct?
That's correct.
That's correct. I think that's a whole separate permit that's requested from the town.
Okay,
And the request was for a certain amplification. And I don't know what volume people control that is over that.
And I think it was single, which is
Single instrumentalist.
pretty
So that would
I
be
think it said,
It's not like a
a band playing the.
single instrument, single
yeah.
instrumentalist and vocalist.
And so we had a single instrumentalist and vocalist over by 11 o'clock. That would be fairly consistent with what the
oh,
other
it's not Rob's.
establishment had as well on the other side of the harbor.
Mhm.
They just, can I just clarify that the fireworks are actually permitted by the state?
Oh, okay, thank you.
Say, at least the commercial,
Because we have an ordinance in this town for fireworks.
commercial fireworks up for weddings, the license through the state farm.
So that's a little harder to,
Yeah, but we don't have any control.
no.
Yeah.
Any other comments?
Well, if the Claremont is any indicator of Mr. Harrington's plans for the Askew, weddings will be severely limited.
I think I read that actually, that the public events are very limited for the new facility. Because they don't really have a facility for that anymore.
It was worth mentioning that, that there was a concern.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Limited to just no later than 1.
Yes,
Absolutely.
very reasonable.
But when you get to the point when you're actually voting on those, you can impose those conditions.
Yep.
Mhm.
Get to that agenda item.
Do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
Any other comments? We've moved public hearing, be closed.
Second.
All in favor? Post public hearing. The liquor license, new license,
Move approval.
Second.
any discussion? All in favor? The Askew Hotel Special Amusement Permit Approval.
Move approval
Do you want to put specific?
at the discussion phase.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. Madam Chair, I would recommend that the special amusement permit be limited to, as stated in the application and in accordance with their operating hours, that being until 11 p.m.
Second.
Any other discussion? All approve? All in favor? All right, minutes, I think we will postpone because Rick wasn't at the last meeting, so we do not have a quorum for the minutes. Appointments, recognitions, and resignations. Appointment of seasonal dockhand and boat launch operators as presented in the Harbor Master's memo dated April 15, 2025.
Move appointment.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Appointment of Robert Parlante to the refuse position effective April 23rd, 2025 at the rate of 26.4916 per hour, increasing to 27.7276 per hour after successful completion of a 6-month probationary period.
Move appointment.
Second,
Any discussion?
yes. Could I have clarification of the rates? Not in parlance, I understand.
Would it be like 26
I'm not
fifty?
sure what I don't know where the
Oh.
rounding occurs. I asked for the rates that are being paid at the various positions.
Interesting.
And I report them as I've been. It's,
Okay, so this is US currency, it's not crypto, all right? Interesting.
Yeah, normally we round it, but it keeps coming to me with all these digits and rather than fight the battle, I'm like, fine. And that's what shows up in Munis when they do the calculations and.
They get paid a certain amount per week, even though it's technically an hourly position, and this is their, anyway. Interesting.
Wonder if that's how pi came about.
I would say no.
So it's been moved and seconded?
Any other discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Consent agenda, Harbor Committee meetings from March 11, 2025.
Move acceptance of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any select board reports?
I have a question for perhaps or a comment about, I don't remember discussion of the paving of the boat launch at Pond's End, which has been done, in a kind of an interesting way from my discussion I just had with a resident who has intimate knowledge of the use of that boat ride. Have you had other questions about, it's put straight out to the road, which is not much use to people launching boats because they have to come in and then back down. Nobody backs in from the road, and just the concern was that it would end up being a kind of a speed bump for people and also a problem for people with small trailers. I just don't know. Did you have any information on that?
Sure, so we had a paver in the area because of our annual paving that we did, which we're doing some repairs on Ripples Road, which is around
Yeah.
the corner. It had been paid last year as part of our annual
Right.
paving. There's a little bit of money, there was a little bit of money left in our annual paving budget that, the suggestion was made that we could pave that area because we do have a certain amount of, washout that's happening and material that's washing into the lake.
Right.
And so we were trying to clean up that spot and make it so that there was a path for launching back and forth without continuing to disrupt that surface. So yeah, there was just the strip paved.
Okay.
Keeping it within the amount that we had available. I think we had $6,800 available at the end of our paving budget. It was $6,100 to do that strip.
Okay.
So it was just an approval. It wasn't brought here because it was within the purchasing policy to just go through. I made a recommendation to Derwin who that approved.
Okay.
But it was essentially because they were in the area. We
Yeah.
wanted to get something done to try and stabilize that launch area.
Well, okay. I guess the person I spoke to just had hoped, thought that might be the case, but it would have loved to have some input into the design of the paving, because I don't think his position is that it's going to improve the runoff problem. In fact, it may make it worse in some ways, but I just wanted to know that. I figured that you had it was part of a budget and you had an opportunity to do it if they were there.
Yeah, it was a remaining portion of
Okay.
that paving budget. Trying to get it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I do
feel there is more work that needs to be done on that.
And some maintenance, because yeah. Okay, thank you.
But it is just, yes, it's short term.
Thank you. Any other select board reports? No unfinished business. We'll move on to new business. Liquor license renewal, Winter Spring Incorporated, doing business as Colonel's Restaurant, 143 Main Street, Northeast Harbor.
Move approval. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? New business continued. 7/2025 public space special event application, District 18 AA Main Community Picnic, Summonsby Park, May 26, 2025.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Discussion of Sustainability Committee shredding event for the residents of Town of Mount Desert, proposed for Saturday, September 13th, 9 to 1, at a cost of $950 to the town. And this was brought up at last meeting by the Sustainable Committee suggesting that maybe we offer this for the town, particularly after tax season, and that people may have things to be shredded.
Will the town also will it benefit the town office to have that opportunity too, or is this exclusively for the?
I usually hire them to come in once a year to shred my clerk's stuff.
Right.
And it's at a cost per like a bin load, and if it looks like I have room, I share it with the rest of the office. If you got anything to dump in, dump in. So if it's something that the town thought is okay for the admin office or somebody to bring some stuff over, I'm sure I would have something. But
Okay.
Usually in January, as part of my cleanup, I shred the years that are going out.
So it wouldn't be your plan, or would it be your plan to try to take the opportunity on the 13th of September to shred some stuff?
I would be happy to do that, and then maybe save some money in my budget for January, but I didn't want to use up something that was for the residents on our town business.
No, I understand. I appreciate that.
So yeah, if you wanna authorize,
So where does the $950 cost come from? They
I
estimate?
think it's out of their budget, sustainability budget.
No, but what, how did they come up with that
Well,
amount?
They got an estimate direct from shredding on site. And that's
They
an
don't-
organization that
They
brings
gotta
a
just
truck.
guess how much they would. 'Cause I didn't-
This says up to 8,000 pounds of paper on site,
Okay,
quite bad.
which
that's
is,
a lot.
that's
a
a lot.
lot. Yeah, because when I do it, it's usually, I don't know, I'm ballparking like $150. You know, where I come in and just, it's usually like one bin, maybe two at the most.
We use them at school as well,
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
idea, like maybe $100
Yeah.
for a bin. Oh, there's Phil.
All right.
It's fine, we were just at the shredding event for the town.
So I walked in just in time.
You did.
All right, so I have some update. I asked when I called them originally, if they had a cancellation, would they call us? And they called me yesterday with the cancellation. And I proposed we do a date of May 31st, which is the Saturday after Memorial Day. And they penciled us in if we're in.
Can I
There's
ask,
a little poster up at town meeting. Some publicity, I think it gives us a full month. And Brian, you have money in the budget, right?
can I, the $950, is that based on sort of a ballpark estimate of how much you?
It's if you fill, that you fill in the truck, you know, that's their person, they said two people, that's just how they do it.
So we were just asking about whether or not there would likely be room for the office, the town office to also access that.
Oh, I think they could. It's just-
I do
mean,
too.
It's not like you're gonna have, you know, a couple of trailer trucks load, I mean, the
Okay.
truck's pretty big if you've ever seen it. I think it's a 20, confirmed, I think it's a 20, and Claire, you've had it come, it's a 20 by 20, you know.
It's
box truck.
pretty good size. I can't imagine this town having that much to shred.
Okay.
Even if you took up a
Oh,
few,
yeah, even if I took up, and I won't even have the whole load that I usually do in January. But, you
Yeah,
know, I
that's
have
fine.
election stuff
I'm
that'll
just
need
trying to-
shred.
Kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah,
I think it's a great thing to try, you know,
Sure.
and again, Chief Bender, a little reminder of, please don't put it in the wood stove, don't burn it in the backyard. I mean, we all have a lot of, you know, and the one thing they tell us to all day long is what? Be careful with your personal information, get rid of those little checks and get rid of all, save maybe the tax return, but everything else, let's get rid of it. I don't want it.
I think it's a nice service to try.
I tried to do it in conjunction with the household hazardous universal collection day. And it's already too trafficked and too confusing, and we have 4 or 5 other towns involved, so it would be inappropriate at that site to do it that day, and I see it as a test. We don't like it, we don't do it again.
Maybe another year we get the other towns to do it as well at the same time, and then you could do it all at once.
They're pretty
Share the
booked
cost.
this year, it's very popular throughout the state.
Anyway.
Because what do you do with this stuff?
Maybe next year we could do it at town meeting, come to town meeting, shred your documents, get your supper, and then have a meeting. It could be a community day.
Where is the site?
Town garage.
Thank you.
I just think because we have one wing in, you know, we can control access for the day. I mean, Brian and I chatted a little bit about that, it's pretty simple to do. I bet I could talk to Chief Kearns, and we could have an officer there too. I bet they have a few things downstairs they wouldn't want to get rid of too.
I'd move approval of the shredding event with the amended date of May 31st, 2025.
Second, if I didn't know we were up for a motion, but yeah.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Thank you, Phil.
And I apologize for being late.
Discussion of LD 1438, an act to require the Department of Inland and Fisheries and Wildlife to allow hunting on Mount Desert Island.
To give you a little update on what's happened so far, they did have a public hearing. And it is gone to the Inland Fisheries Committee, Inland Fisheries and Wildlife Committee. They will be scheduling at some point in time a workshop. That has not been scheduled yet. But the bottom line is the department reiterated that nothing can happen without the legislative body of the town approving, which in our case is the town meeting. So unless you wanted to have a special town meeting, the earliest you'd be able to act on that would be next annual town meeting. So I think the process is just gonna grind its way. It may never ever get to that point, but the earliest there could ever be an adjudication on it would be a year from now.
Okay,
Which I would expect it would take that long anyway
Well,
to,
Yeah, and they give you,
if it got that.
that would
long.
give you plenty of time, like if it was gonna be on the warrant, you have your public hearings and all of that sort of stuff. So there's no, as far as I can see, there's no crisis. You won't have to worry about dodging lead here this fall. Out of the carriage.
you still have to dodge it here.
That if to allow this hunting, I certainly don't want people going in my backyard shooting bullets.
I think the bad part about it is everyone that doesn't have to post plan now would have to post plan.
They
So,
can't come within 300 feet of your home.
if you take a look at the
Nope.
geography of the towns and how little open space there is, because you know,
That's right.
2/3 of the island is national park and you have golf courses and all this stuff, so there isn't a whole lot of open land on any of these towns to have a deer hunt.
Yeah, what's the setback on federal land for hunting? I think it's 300 feet too, right?
I don't know, but hunting is not allowed inside the national
Well,
park.
I'm just saying, but the setback on the outside, you know, again.
Probably would be the
They
same.
run into the same situation, you know, like at US Fish and Wildlife properties and
Yeah, probably the
where
same.
they do allow hunting.
Gosh, I remember when Patrick was a select person.
Yeah.
Long time ago, we had discussions about this
Well,
and
yeah, you did.
I mean,
Yeah,
trying to figure out ways to. Everybody had their own opinion, so.
How about we first just outlaw feeding the damn thing and then, sorry.
All right, thank you, Derlin.
you're more than welcome.
Any other discussion on that? Request authorization to pay electrical hookup at the Seal Harbor Pier with MCM Electric in the amount of $4,930 for the work out of the Seal Harbor CIP Reserve, account number 6410200-24600. The account has a balance of $71,526.58.
Move authorization.
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Consider accepting an unconditional gift to the Mount Desert Fire Department in memory of Stuart Burr from Merle and Joan Bragdon in the amount of $100.
Move acceptance.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Consideration of waiving the rental fee for the use of the Seal Harbor Fire Station Community Room by the Acadia National Park on April 29, 2025.
Only if they give us back part of Otter Creek.
Yeah. Let's bring the contract over to the other side.
what are they, what are they using the hall for?
I believe it's some tactical training.
Okay,
So he's in line, so probably shouldn't bring over the contract.
Afternoon of 20.
I would move that we waive the rental fee for that purpose.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Consider approving the release of an amount not to exceed $30,000 from the fire station's building reserve account number 4040300-24470 and authorize the fire chief to use such funds for the purpose of resurfacing the truck apron and community room parking area at Mount Desert Fire Station number 2.
Move approval.
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Review and approve acceptance of a bid from MDI Porta Potties and Septic Services LLC for seasonal portable toilet services in a lump sum of $9,200 plus $75 per additional pumping unit.
move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Review and approve the use of $7,899.40 from the Public Works Road Reserve, account number 4050100-24573, with an approximate unencumbered amount of $355,795.36.
Move approval.
Second,
Any discussion?
Is that that's the project that, a big project a couple of years ago, is that the sort of the ending of this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just the final amount
Okay.
covering the cost. for
Yeah.
that. We had done a bond, plus we'd gotten a grant, but originally it was
That was like the
anticipated,
$300,000 culvert that I was, yeah,
originally it was
Yeah,
anticipated that we
yeah.
were gonna use reserve funds.
okay,
And then we ended up bonding it.
that's what I thought, okay. Thank you.
All in favor? Request and authorize to pay for the historical preservation and
That's a hard.
digitization of town records to co-file $10,532.50 to be taken from the Historical Preservation CIP account number 4020200-24205 with a balance of $37,232.48.
move authorization.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Any other public comment from anybody? Any other business? Hearing nothing, we will move to the treasurer's warrants. Warrants to be approved and signed. Town invoices, AP 2566 dated 4/23/25 in the amount of $713,148.74.
Move approval and signature.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Authorized warrants to be signed, town state fees and payroll benefits, AP 2564 dated 4/9/2025 in the amount of $46,668.73, and AP 2565 dated 4/16/25 in the amount of $5,750.85. Town payroll PR number 2523 dated 4/11/2025 in the amount of $177,344.29 for a total of $229,763.87.
Move approval.
Second,
Any discussion?
You voted?
Can we vote
We
this?
can't.
Because I can't
No.
vote on this.
So no.
Interesting, yeah. These are payroll, yeah.
I was gonna say.
I would think if this particular case is an emergency, you could vote it would be.
Okay,
Yeah, you
then
know,
all in favor?
it's a lesser of evils than not paying people, so.
Other warrants, school invoices, I agree, AP
Everybody but John.
4/17/25 for 3,000. Okay, you could withhold John's paycheck. School invoices, AP number 12 dating 4/17/2025 for $3,200. School payroll PR 21 dated 4/11/2025 for $116,285.09. No voids for a total of $119,485.09.
Move acknowledgement.
second,
Any discussion? All those in favor?
move adjournment.
Second.
All those in favor?
Just a reminder that the next meeting is Tuesday after the town meeting, so we have to stay and do that business.
After the town meeting.
We'll try to keep the agenda light as we always do.